I still remember the sound the front gate made when it opened. A low metal creak, followed by a soft echo against the walls. That sound meant home. It meant safety. It meant childhood. It meant everything I thought would last forever. But forever doesn't ask for permission before it ends. I was 8 years old when I first understood what loss felt like, even though no one had the courage to call it that. They just said, "We're moving." No explanation. No warning. Just cardboard boxes, taped memories, and adults pretending this was normal. That house wasn't just bricks and paint. It was where my height was measured every year on the kitchen wall. Where laughter spilled out of open windows during summer evenings. Where my mother's voice echoed down the hallway calling me for dinner. Where my father sat on the porch every night, tired but proud. And then it was gone. Sold. Just like that. The day we left, I stood in my empty bedroom. No bed. No posters. No noise. Just white walls and silence. I pressed my hand against the wall where my bed used to be, as if the house could remember me, even if the people didn't. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just promised myself something I didn't fully understand yet. One day, I'll come back. Life after that wasn't kind. We moved into smaller places, quieter places, places that never felt like ours. Every new house felt temporary, like we were guests waiting to be told to leave. I watched my parents change. Stress replaced laughter. Silence replaced conversations. Pride slowly turned into survival. And I learned early that stability isn't guaranteed. It's rented. Years passed. School turned into responsibility. Dreams turned into pressure. Hope turned into something fragile. People around me didn't see a future. They saw someone who came from what used to be. Someone whose story peaked too early. They'd say things like, "Be realistic. That phase is over. You should be grateful for what you have now." But what I had now wasn't home. I drove past that old house once, years later. I didn't plan to. My hands just turned the wheel on their own. The gate was different. The paint was new. The porch had been remodeled. But the shape of it, the soul of it, was the same. Someone else lived there now. Someone else laughed there. Someone else called it home. And that hurt more than I expected, because that place still belonged to a version of me that never got to say goodbye. That night, I made a decision. Not out of anger, not out of revenge, but out of healing. I decided I would build something so solid, so undeniable, that I would never be forced to leave again. The journey wasn't glamorous. No shortcuts. No overnight success. Just long nights. Missed sleep. Quiet sacrifices no one applauded. While others celebrated weekends, I invested in weekdays. While others chased comfort, I chased consistency. I failed more times than I can count. Lost money. Lost confidence. Lost people who only believed in me when it was convenient. But I never lost the vision. That house. That gate. That promise. There were moments I wanted to quit. Moments when the goal felt childish. Impractical. Unreachable. People laughed when they heard my reason. "You're doing all this for a house?" They didn't understand. It was never just a house. It was dignity. It was closure. It was proof that my past didn't get the final word. Years later, I stood outside that same gate again. This time, I wasn't passing by. I was there for a meeting. The real estate agent didn't know my story. To them, it was just another property. They spoke numbers, conditions, paperwork. I nodded calmly, while my heart pounded like it used to when I ran through that hallway as a kid. When they asked, "So, why this house?" I smiled and said, "It's familiar." The day the papers were signed, I didn't celebrate. I sat alone inside the empty living room. Same light, same corners, same quiet. Only this time, the silence didn't hurt. It healed. I walked room to room slowly, not rushing, not touching, just breathing. Because for the first time in my life, nothing here could be taken from me. I stood in my old bedroom. The walls were different, but the memories weren't. I closed my eyes and imagined my younger self standing there, confused, scared, holding a promise too heavy for a child. And I whispered, We made it. Buying that house didn't change my life overnight, but it changed me. It reminded me that loss doesn't mean defeat, that being pushed out doesn't mean being locked out forever, that sometimes the longest journeys are the ones that lead us back to ourselves. Now, when I open that gate, it doesn't creak. It opens smoothly, like it was waiting. If you're listening to this and carrying a place, a dream, or a version of yourself that feels stolen, hold on. What leaves your life isn't always gone forever. Sometimes, it's just waiting for you to grow strong enough to reclaim it.